Hammond Park was first known as St. James Park, after the hotel that stood north of it. The 1.5 acres in downtown is Jacksonville's first park, and it was sold to the city for $10 in 1866. In 1898, Charles C. Hemming, a Civil War hero and Jacksonville native, donated a statue to the city. A Confederate soldier that stands 62 feet tall and in the exact center of Jacksonville, as well as the park. A year after the donation, the park was renamed Hemming Park. On May 3, 1901, downtown Jacksonville suffered what is considered the largest urban fire in the Southeast. In 8 hours, 10,000 people were left homeless and over 2,000 buildings were lost. Somehow, only 7 people died. The fire started shortly after noon at the Cleveland Fiber Factory and spread eastward until it reached the St. John River. Tents were put up in Hemming Park to serve as shelter. Florida Governor William S. Jennings declared martial law and dispatched state militia to Jacksonville to help with the reconstruction. After 2 weeks, the city was returned to civil authorities. The Confederate soldier statue was one of the few pieces of the city that survived the Great Fire. Over the years, Hemming Park has had highlights and lowlights. On August 27, 1960, Hemming Park was a gathering place of 150 white men carrying axe handles and baseball bats. These white men went out and assaulted black citizens in downtown. This was retaliation against the NAACP Youth Council, who had been protesting segregation by doing sit-ins in downtown restaurants. Jacksonville did not truly acknowledge this event until the year 2000, when they commemorated it with this monument. Hemming Park also served as a site for political candidates to greet the public. Future President John F. Kennedy visited Hemming Park on October 18, 1960, during his presidential campaign. This memorial was erected a year after the assassination of the president to commemorate his visit to the park. Nixon addressed the public in Hemming Park hours after JFK. Congressman Charles E. Bennett stands not too far from JFK. Bennett was elected to Congress in 1948 and was re-elected 21 times. The Fort Caroline National Memorial and the Timucuan Ecological and Historic Preserve were both created through his efforts. This statue sits on a base inscribed, "In God We Trust." Bennett sponsored the bill that put the phrase on every coin and every dollar. In 1977, rumors began floating around that Hemming Park would become Hemming Plaza. A year later, the grassy lawns were cemented and bricked over to create a plaza. This was a part of a city effort to bring life to downtown and draw people away from suburbia. After 3 short years, not much had been done. And by 1984, the city pulled the plug on the project. Over the years, the city has put money into restoring some of the surrounding buildings. Where the St. James Hotel once stood is now St. James Building and serves as City Hall. Across from Hemming Park, the Jacksonville Main Library opened in 2005, replacing the Hayden Burns Library. But the park remained untouched and eventually a destination for the homeless. Persistently portrayed as a problem in the media, all the homes in Hemming Park are not as harmful as they're made out to seem. In September 2014, City Council and the downtown authorities brought in a group called the Friends of Hemming Park. They also brought back the name Hemming Park.
We brought in a coffee vendor. We have 2 stages, 2 new ones here at the front of Monroe and Laura, and then over here what we're calling the reading room. So we have this whole room planned, and that includes a new stage, some new landscaping, and that's done all throughout the park. Some other changes are, of course, the cafe right here. So this is a 64-person seated area.
I was asked to be in the park, and it's the kind of like the center of the city, of downtown, and with all the revitalization and everything that's happening in the city, it was kind of like a no-brainer for us. We're a new business.
I'm working on programming the park from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that is bringing in fitness classes, that is bringing in food trucks for the cafe, that's bringing in live music.
Well, we had come here for one event a while back, and the Friends of Hemming Plaza contacted us and asked us if we would come here on every Friday of this month, actually, and possibly next month.
Everywhere is your playground. So that's one of the things we do is teach anyone how to utilize their body through our strength training. We do yoga as well. We also do meditation, nutrition, and action, taking positive action. So those are the 5 disciplines of Jack's Fit that we try to teach everyone here.
And something that I'm really excited about is the Imagination Playground, which was just launched last week. And these are these big blue foam blocks that really allow kids to have a customizable playground. And it's just, take the pieces and figure out what to do with them, how to configure them in different ways. So we put that out every day. So right now, those are some of the key changes, and you can see the fountain is also in progress. So to uplift, clean the fountain, paint it.
There's been numerous events. Last week, a good one was GastroFest. There was over 30,000 people in this park for an event in one day.
When GastroFest, the police officers told us that there were 30,000 people down here, it was just kind of like oh my God, this is so crazy. And I think that's my favorite memory.
Interaction between the people who usually occupy the park and who are here, and then the people who are now starting to come to the park, and the interaction of them together has been really cool. And then just the change of it becoming this place where people want to be rather than a place where people want to avoid.
I want it to be a destination. I want people from all over just to think of it as Bryant Park in New York City, or some of the parks in Portland, where just this is the place to be and this is the place to be seen.
After all this, the Confederate soldier still stands in the middle of the park, in the middle of the city, watching everything.